Hello and welcome to Laurice's Kitchen. It's back to basics with white sandwich bread. I'm always tinkering with my recipes, so it's high time I show you the updated version of our lunchtime staple. If you haven't watched the original video, the ingredients list is nearly identical. We start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour and add in 2 cups of warm water, a generous 1/4 cup of vital wheat gluten, a scant 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and this is sea salt from Surrey at Spoon Fork Heart, along with 1 package of active dry yeast. Now this is about a tablespoon if you're just measuring. What I have started adding in is about a 1/4 cup of canola oil. I really like the consistency of the bread. So let's get this all mixed up. We're adding all the dry ingredients first. Okay, I'm just going to mix these all together first before I pour the water and oil on. To keep the mess to a minimum, we're going to mix this by hand first. Okay, now it can go on the mixer. Okay, you'll notice that I'm starting with my paddle first and not the dough hook. I only added in about half the total amount of flour that we're going to use. The way I make bread is to make a sponge first, which is a very loose mixture of flour and all the other ingredients. This is going to go on the mixer for probably close to 10 minutes until it's nice and ropey. You can see how nice and smooth this is, and it's starting to sheet, so this is ready to go. I'm going to add in a 1.5 cups of flour and change over from the paddle to the dough hook. Okay, I'm just going to use the dough hook to get the flour off the walls here so it incorporates better. Okay, it's time to add in some more flour. I'm going to start with 1/2 cup, and from there after on it'll probably just be 1/4 cup additions. Everything you know about flour with cakes and cookies flies out the window when you're making bread. It is simply impossible to work this dough too long, and in fact the longer you work it, the more velvety and chewier your bread will be. You also want to use as little flour as possible. The softer the dough, the softer the bread. That way when your friends come over and say, "This doesn't taste like homemade bread," you know you've done it right. Okay, this is just starting to pull away from the sides of the mixer. So this isn't very sticky, and we don't want to add too much extra flour, else our bread dough will be tough. We're going to get this over to the dry granite out of the bowl. We're going to shape it into a ball, and then it's going in a greased bowl and in my unheated oven for about 1 hour and 10 minutes to rise. Okay, we want this dough to be nice and soft, so we're going to get this out. Okay, now you'll notice I have not added any extra flour to this because I don't want this to be stiff at all. Just going to knead it until it's elastic, and then we're putting it in the bowl. Okay, we want to make sure we grease both sides. I'm just allowing this to rise in my unheated oven. That way I don't have to cover it and I don't have to worry about cat hair. Okay, you can see this is doubled. We're just going to punch this down and let it rise again for another 1 hour and 10 minutes. Let's just talk for a second about what we're going to make this loaf in. You'll notice this is not two small 8x4x4 loaf pans. This is one large 16x4x4 full-size loaf pan. It's made by Wilton and they call it a loaf and angel food cake pan if you're gonna look for it. I've sprayed all the sides with nonstick cooking spray and I have yet to have a loaf stick anywhere in this. Okay, we're gonna dump this out, punch it down, and then roll it into the shape that it'll fit in this pan. We need to redistribute the air pockets so we don't have any big large voids. Okay, that's pretty close. This is going back in the unheated oven for probably 50 minutes. It's going to rise up above the edge here. We'll take it out, turn the oven on to heat up, and that'll let it rise for its last little bit. This has been rising for about 50 minutes. I've taken it out of the oven. I'm going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. This will continue to rise for just a little bit while the oven preheats. In the oven for 35 minutes. Based on how much it's risen, this has the potential for comedy. We need to get this out of the pan pretty quickly. We don't want it to steam in there, otherwise it could collapse. So let's see if this pan's made a liar out of me. Oh, that's incredibly hot. No, perfectly clean. It's been about an hour and a half, so we can finally cut into this. Oh, it's nice and crusty. It's time to give this bread a taste. I've made mine into a chicken sandwich. That is so chewy, so delicious.